Good afternoon, everybody. We have a mixed crowd, mixed species crowd here. So glad that all the beagles turned out for our press conference. Doesn't look like they have great seats, but I think they're content. Thank you, all of you, for coming. My name is Wayne Pacelli. I'm president of the Center for a Humane Economy and Animal Wellness Action, a sister organization. And we are at the remarkable facility of the Dane County Humane Society. Pam McLeod-Smith is our executive director, and Amy Good will be speaking in a moment as the director of development and communications as well. Yes. And I'm just so grateful to the Dane County Humane Society for opening its magnificent facility to accept these 150 dogs today, 150 dogs yesterday, and we hope 100 dogs tomorrow, Wednesday, and also Thursday. Is this mic not on? Let's see. Okay. Switch it.
Test, test, test. Is it? Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll be nice and loud. So this week wraps up the movement of 1,500 beagles from Ridgeland Farms to animal welfare groups. And I think many of you who've been following this issue know that the Center for Humane Economy and Big Dog Ranch Rescue, represented by Joseph Good, a Milwaukee-based attorney, former chair of the board of the Dane County Humane Society, was instrumental in negotiating this agreement. And Joe, we're so grateful for the life-saving work that you have done. This started a week ago Friday, so we've been running for about 12, 13 days, and no movement of animals on the weekends. So last week there were several days of movement of animals. The Friday before, I was able to go on the first day to Ridgeland Farms and to take dogs out. And those dogs went to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, which is working with hundreds of rescue organizations around the country. This set of animals are really going to be administered first and foremost by Beagle Freedom Project. So we're so excited to have our partners at Beagle Freedom, which has done amazing work to take animals from laboratory type settings or suppliers and get those animals into loving homes. And I will tell you, it's not a tough sell to get beagles into homes. The response around the nation has been overwhelming, and it is just quite extraordinary to see how many people have opened up their hearts to these animals and who want them to live a full, complete, safe life. There is intense competition among people for more of the animals, and we hope through our larger political efforts and our negotiations that we'll see more animals come out of laboratory animal breeding suppliers and the labs directly. We hope soon to close this era of testing on dogs and primates and other animals. This is no longer morally acceptable, and it is scientifically suspect at best. I've been working on this issue for many years, and the Center for Humane Economy and Animal Wellness Action spearheaded the FDA Modernization Act, and it was introduced in the Congress in 2021. It passed at the end of 2022 as the FDA Modernization Act 2.0. And this was such a consequential federal action for animals and laboratories. It eliminated an animal testing mandate for every new drug that was being conceived of by a drug developer, pharmaceutical companies and others. And for 84 years, from 1938 to 2022, it was a requirement to use beagles or primates as so-called higher mammals, as well as rabbits, rats, mice, and a range of other species. And the data show after these 8 decades that In 90% of the cases where a drug passed muster in the extensive multi-species animal tests, and they look at two issues: the safety of the drug, to see if you take the drug and it will cause adverse reactions. And then the second test is the efficacy or the effectiveness of a drug, that the drug does as advertised. If it's an anti-cancer drug, does it do that work? If it's an anti-pain drug, does it do its work? If it's an anti-obesity drug, does it do its work? In what kind of world is it acceptable to have a 90% failure rate for the animal test translating to the human condition? This is one major explanation, this waste of all these animal lives, all this money. It costs $2 billion for a drug to get to market these days. And 9 of 10 of them fail because the animal tests have sent us in the wrong direction. We have 21st century strategies that are grounded on human biology. Organoids, organs on a chip, computational toxicology, artificial intelligence. In what world do we use 1930 strategies in a realm of science and development? We can do so much better, and now we're liberated because of the FDA Modernization Act. And what's happened with Ridgeland Farms and other suppliers is that their traditional markets are slowly eroding because new technologies are superior. And I'm just so excited that we're able to help with these animals who were destined for a laboratory setting, to be subjected to, treatments and drugs and toxic substances that would cause them distress, and in many cases death. And I know you'll hear from our incredible panel today that these are remarkable little creatures. They are adorable and they are temperamentally extraordinary. To be out at Ridgeland today and to take some of these animals out with so many folks from Beagle Freedom Project and from Dane County Humane Society and others who've been committed to these animals, I think we all felt a really special moment in that regard. And I think really to commemorate this occasion, it was really fitting that Geezer Butler joined us today. He flew in this morning. I think many of you, everybody, I think who's alive and alert to the world and who likes music, knows that Black Sabbath is one of the extraordinary bands of the 20th and 21st century. He was the legendary bassist and the primary lyricist for Black Sabbath. And I've known him because his wife is involved with the Center for Humane Economy on our Global Council for Animals. And I've had just the pleasure of getting to know Geezer a little bit, and he comes straight from the heart. So Geezer, thank you so much for coming today and joining us, and thank you for all of your caring concern for animals.
Thanks for having us. It's a privilege. Would you like to say a few words? Just saying a few words. Well, as I said, I was invited here by my wife, who is a long advocate for animals, and so it was a no-brainer for me to come here and help with this historical rescue of these amazing animals. And the sad thing is, because beagles are so gentle and malleable by these monsters at these clinics, there's just no need for it anymore. It's just like it's torture. It's the people are torturing these animals just for absolutely nothing. And there's so many other alternatives now to be able to do these experiments without using any kind of animal. And if the general public could actually see what goes on at these places and see how these poor animals are tortured, there'd just be an outcry. The government would step in. Everything, people would vote for the end of this disgusting inhumanity. And I'm just here to hopefully help with exposing these people and putting an end to all experiments on animals. And of course, none of these experiments need to be done these days. There's AI that can do things from AI now. I've been a dog lover since I was born. My dogs would save my life. They were my best friends growing up, and I've still got 5 dogs at home and 5 cats, and they've been my best friends throughout life. They've never let me down. They're always loving. They don't expect much from you, just food and a bit of a walk now and again. And it's just heartbreaking to see that animals that I've grown up with and have been my best friend are treated like this. And thank God this is a historical day for, I think it's 1,500 beagles now coming out of these places. And they've got already people have applied to adopt them. More people have applied to adopt them than there are animals. And this is just the beginning. And hopefully this will be the end of this horrendous process of experimenting on these poor things. So yeah, that's probably all I got to say. Thanks for coming.
Geezer. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Geezer. My colleague Paul Collins, who is the Wisconsin State Director for the Center for Humane Economy, is the #1 fan of Geezer. #1 fan. He is. Look at. He's got his Black Sabbath there. So we're so glad that that you were able to join us. And kind of switching musical genres, we're also
just a little bit.
yeah, we're so happy to have pop artist and star #1 hit legend Debbie Gibson. She has been an animal advocate, and she is a spokesperson for Beagle Freedom Project, and she was on the effort on the grounds of Ridgeland pulling out animals. I can tell you that when she had those animals in her arms, they were not going anywhere. They were very secure in her arms. Debbie, thank you for making the trip from the West Coast and joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My new friend. He's like, they're not secure. Wait, hold on. I was gonna hold him. I was gonna hold him, and he'll let me hold him now. Okay, let's see. Here, wait. He's a little awkwardly. I noticed a lot of them kind of flew out like airplanes in this position. I don't know what that. I think I got him.
Okay, good.
I think I got him. Hi, everybody. Oh, that would be my phone going off. Hi, everybody. Hold on one second. Let me get a little less awkward. Come here. Wait. There we go. I got him. Okay. Only one microphone broken. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being here today. This is something so monumental, and I became aware of Beagle Freedom Project a couple of years ago because Shannon Keith is incredible, and she really kind of brought this the animal testing issue to the masses, and through social media was really how I became aware, and also just all animal rescue. Like, I do hope that this moment also shines a light on the fact that in addition to beagles, there are all these beautiful mixed breed dogs of all ages in shelters everywhere, and it's just such an epidemic right now. And I'm thrilled, though, to be a part of the change. You know, I think today was such a shift, and obviously you guys know the backstory. You know, these dogs all have a backstory, and today was about how emotional it was to walk in and to be able to, one at a time, look at all these beautiful dogs that you see in these crates here at the Dane County Humane Center. Thank you so much for helping us today. It was so profound to be able to hold each of these dogs in our arms and to be able to assure them that their new life is starting and that they were going on a grand adventure now. And I think a lot of people in the world right now feel helpless. It's chaotic times. And this is something people can do. People can take one voiceless being at a time and give them their dignity back. And I think that is just, I don't know, that just speaks to me. And this little guy, this little guy was the last one put in my arms, and I couldn't put him back in the cage. So I think he may be coming back cross country with me today. I'm at least going to foster and see how he fits in with my pack of dachshunds at home. Yeah, what do you think of that? Do you want some brothers? You want to see what happens? Yes. Yeah. So I think we're doing that. But yeah, I think emotional is the word. Today was a very emotional day, a monumental day, a historic day. And there's a lot of work still to be done, but it's such a big step in the right direction. So thank you guys for including me today and for all the work you do. You know, a lot of entertainers, like, we use our voices and we use our platforms, but the people every day who show up and rescue as fosters, as transporters, who have to say goodbye to friends constantly, their furry friends, because there simply aren't enough people taking them in, to me are the real heroes. So thank you guys so much for being boots on the ground every single day. Thank you. And I'm honored to lend my voice today. Thank you. Oh, come here, Boo. Come here, Boo.
So, Ryan, do we have our next speaker? So I'm really delighted to welcome Congressman Nick Langworthy. He is a Republican from upstate New York, and I'll look for him joining on the screen. Congressman Langworthy is a member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, and the Energy and Commerce Committee tomorrow is going to be considering the FDA Modernization Act 3.0 and is expected to pass that legislation to build our momentum to accelerate the transition to non-animal testing methods. That bill passed the U.S. House of Representatives in December. Excuse me, it passed the U.S. Senate in December, and now we are, I hope, poised to pass it in the U.S. House of Representatives and then to send it on to the president. So Congressman Langworthy has been speaking out about the Beagles in recent weeks, and I took note because he's a very powerful ally to have. As a member of the committee that handles national health policy and also a member of the Rules Committee, which kind of determines the flow of bills that come to the floor of the U.S. House, Congressman Langworthy is a really fantastic new ally. So Congressman Langworthy, thank you so much for your work on animal welfare, and we're delighted to welcome you to the press conference today.
Well, thank you so much, Wayne, and thank you everyone for the opportunity to join you. And I can't lie, I'm a little excited to follow Debbie Gibson in this press conference. This is kind of a bucket list thing, I guess. I want to thank everyone at the Animal Wellness Action and the Center for Humane Economy for all of the incredible efforts to protect animals from abuse. I mean, this has been, I will admit, I'm new to this policy area, but those videos from Ridgeland Farms that started showing up in my social media feed, and first my wife's social media feed, who brought it to my attention. It was time to get involved. And, you know, this organization that brought us together today has been at the forefront of animal welfare issues, particularly as it relates to animal testing on dogs and cats. And they have been instrumental in getting Ridgeland Farms shut down and rescuing the 2,000 beagles that have been suffering under these absolutely horrific conditions. I have, like I said, I'm proud to join this fight, but there are thousands and thousands of people that have led to this moment, whether it's through digital advocacy or those people that actually showed up for that first time at Ridgeland Farms to say enough is enough. But the more I have learned, the more I am committed to ensure that we put an end to invasive animal testing on dogs and cats once and for all. And when I first became aware of what was happening at Ridgeland Farms, I knew this was something I couldn't stay silent on. So, you know, in April, we directly engaged with Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the NIH Director, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, calling for immediate action in a status report as to where we were. I urged the Department of Health and Human Services and the NIH to provide a full accounting of federal grants tied to Ridgeland and to other commercial breeders, and immediately suspend funding for projects involving Ridgeland beagles, and to develop a clear timeline to phase out all federal support for invasive research using dogs and cats bred for experimentation in euthanasia. Because this comes down to two principles, basic principles: humane treatment and common sense. And we have a duty to ensure that federally funded research reflects modern scientific standards and basic decency. And increasingly, experts themselves are acknowledging that many of these animal testing models are simply outdated, they're unreliable, and they're unnecessary when more advanced alternatives exist. This isn't about opposing medical progress. It's about demanding that progress happens ethically and intelligently. And the reality is that that technology has advanced beyond this. Researchers now have alternatives that can often produce more accurate and more humane results without subjecting animals to painful procedures. And Americans across the political spectrum agree on this issue. I mean, I have heard from people from all 50 states since getting engaged in this topic, people of all party affiliations that are excited to see something getting done. We can and we must unite around the idea that innocent animals who cannot speak for themselves, they deserve to be protected from harm. And I've always had a soft spot for beagles. My grandfather always had beagles when I was growing up, and I used to stay with them on the weekends. And when I learned that they were the breed of choice for animal experimentation because of their calm and docile nature and their forgiving nature, my heart just broke. But then I got angry to think that they were being subjected to such heinous treatment, surgeries, experimentations without anesthesia. I mean, whether it's eye procedures or vocal cord being cut, trapped for hours and sentenced to a lifetime in tight wire cages, trapped in filth and never seeing sunlight. That is nothing short of barbaric. I mean, these dogs today that you have in front of you, they have a new lease on life. They have better days ahead. They are going to get to live the life that they were intended to. Dogs are the most trusting and loyal, innocent creatures. And the monsters that are engaging in this torture are exploiting that to make a cheap buck. Ridgeland isn't the only one. I recently traveled to Marshall Bioresources, or Marshall Farms in Wayne County, New York, which is not far from my district. I had no idea this existed 2 weeks ago. They house more than 23,000 dogs at any given time, and they've even created their own breeds, trademarked solely for invasive experimentation. They're known to be one of the largest and most notoriously secretive puppy mills in the nation. And when I showed up, of course, we weren't let inside, and security was watching us like we were criminals, even when I was across the street. But they know that momentum is moving in the right direction and that we are building a coalition needed to shut down these torture chambers for good. Ridgeland Farms is now facing its final days, and so many are working to rescue the final 500 dogs to be transferred to caring organizations who are helping them find their forever homes. And over the weekend, I was absolutely blessed with the chance to visit one of those facilities in Western New York, the Against All Odds Animal Alliance. And they have 8 Ridgeland beagles. I saw them the day after they got to Buffalo from Wisconsin. And it was amazing to be with them and spend time with them just days after leaving that facility. They're already perking up, being playful, learning what real life is going to be like for them. They just want to be loved. And many of them have never even touched grass. It was so heartwarming to know that these dogs are going to have a new lease on life. But our work needs to have just begun. As long as federal dollars continue flowing into cruel and outdated animal testing programs, this system can continue somewhere else under a different name. And in Marshall Farms example, they're sending dogs all over the world, dogs, cats, other animals. We have to cut off that spigot. And that's why I am going to dig in and work hard within my committee at the Energy and Commerce Committee, but also working with HHS and NIH to ensure that we permanently end taxpayer support for invasive testing involving dogs and cats. The American people expect fiscal responsibility. They expect ethical standards, and they expect their government to evolve when better alternatives become available. This is one of those moments where compassion and innovation actually go hand in hand, and we can support scientific advancement while also ending unnecessary suffering. We can modernize research while still pursuing life-saving treatments, and we can make sure that the U.S. leads the world not only in scientific discovery, but in humane standards as well. So I appreciate the opportunity to be with you and to everyone that's spoken out on this issue and has gotten involved in your own way from wherever you are or live. The rescue groups that are taking these dogs in are just, they have a special place, I think, in all of our hearts. This is not normal. We need to do better as a nation. We need to dedicate ourselves to that. But this is a moment of progress, and we're going to keep pushing until not another dollar goes towards the cruel breeding and painful experimentation on dogs and cats. I'm locked in for this fight, and I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to work to encourage more colleagues in Washington and everyday Americans to join us as well. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Congressman Langworthy, that was just an extraordinary statement, and I hope people here and who are watching understand the clarity of that presentation and the message deliverer. Congressman Langworthy is a very important lawmaker in Washington, D.C., and I just want to say thank you so much, Congressman, for joining us in this fight. This is a circumstance that is created in many respects by our own government. The National Institutes of Health is the largest funder of medical research in the United States and in the world. And a vast portion of the dollars go to research protocols involving the use of animals. So if we can defund these projects, which are slowing down our progress in developing palliatives and cures for diseases that afflict people and in other biomedical research, by switching to 21st century strategies, we are going to be better off as a society. We are going to have lower drug prices, safer drugs, better drugs, more cures. And I tell you, I was moved to take the dogs out of the cages today, but I am very moved by Congressman Langworthy. I want to thank him so much. And I also want to thank Shannon Keith. Beagle Freedom Project is just doing an amazing job day to day to help beagles, to elevate their stature, the awareness of their incredible characteristics and qualities. And Shannon is not here with us in the room, but she is with us virtually. So Shannon, thank you for your work, and thank you for helping to shepherd these 500 dogs. Ryan, I think we'll have her on. Thank you, Shannon. And take.
Hi, thank you. Can you guys hear me? Thanks so much, Wayne. Today's amazing. Today is about 500 beagles starting a new chapter, one filled with love, safety, compassion, and the chance to finally experience life beyond a breeding and research environment. It's about these beagles having an identity beyond the number that's tattooed in their ear. They're now going to have a name, and they're going to be recognized as the sentient beings they are. Beagle Freedom Project is honored to be a part of this historic effort alongside the Center for a Humane Economy, and we're deeply grateful to you for securing the agreement that made this life-saving operation possible. This rescue represents what can happen when organizations, advocates, veterinarians, foster networks, and compassionate people come together with a shared mission, giving these dogs the opportunity for loving homes and bright futures. At Beagle Freedom Project, we have rescued literally almost 4,000 animals who spent their lives in animal testing facilities and other facilities that were part of the animal testing chain. We've seen dogs touch grass for the first time, see the outdoors for the first time, have a loving touch, be on a couch for the first time, see a toy for the first time, and experience what it means to actually be a dog. These moments never stop being powerful because every one of these dogs is an individual desperate for love and so capable of trust, affection, joy, and of course, resilience. What's happening here today is also part of a much larger movement in science and public policy. As we've seen and heard today from my colleagues across the country, there's growing momentum towards modern, human-based research methods that can and will improve drug development while reducing and eliminating reliance on archaic and unethical animal testing. And we're so excited for that, and we know it's going to happen. These dogs are not only beginning new lives, they also represent a future where scientific progress and humane values increasingly go hand in hand. Over the coming days and weeks, these beagles will receive the veterinary care they need, the rehabilitation they need, socialization, and placement into loving homes. They will know kindness, they will know comfort, they will know love, and they will know freedom. To everyone who helped make this possible, my amazing dedicated team at Beagle Freedom Project who have worked tirelessly on this. The Dane County Humane Society, thank you. The Wisconsin Puppy Mill Project, the veterinarians, foster families, volunteers, and supporters. Tamara Drake, you're amazing. Joseph Good, Wayne Pacelli, Debbie Gibson, you're awesome, thank you. And Gloria and Geezer Butler, thank you so much. This is what compassion in action looks like. And to the dogs whose lives are changing, it's beginning today. Your next chapter starts now, and we love you.
Shannon, thank you so much. Again, I'm dazzled by the people who've come together to help these animals. What a wonderful tribute to the humanity within our species. We are capable of so much bad, but we are capable of so much good. And this is running in the right direction here today. So thank you so much. And many of these 500 dogs who are removed from Ridgeland this week with Ridgeland's cooperation are going to Wisconsin families. And no one is more indispensable in that movement to other Wisconsinites than Eileen Ribbon. She is the founder of the Wisconsin Puppy Mill Project. She founded that group in 1999 to deal with the larger problem of puppy mills, often for the pet trade. And she is also an officer with the Wisconsin Federated Humane Societies, and the roster of organizations in Wisconsin who are receiving these dogs is incredible. You've got a humane infrastructure here in Wisconsin. Eileen, thank you for building it, and thank you for nourishing it with these beagles. So please come and say hello.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this movement with freeing the Ridgeland dogs. 1,500 truly unique individuals will come into families and homes, be loved, recognized as individuals. We are extremely proud of our Wisconsin Federated Humane Societies organization. We are one of the oldest federations in the humane world. We were established in 1927 and will be 100 years old next year. 22 of our shelter members will be receiving 300 of the 500 dogs that were rescued by Beagle Freedom Project and Wayne's group. We're so grateful for their support. Our organizations are solid. They are friends. They are people we know. We are a network. We will be there for each and every one of those 300 individual dogs as they progress from here onto the sheltering community around our state. Many of them are already in foster homes, the ones we took out yesterday, and we're getting reports on them. The quality of care is superb. Every one of those dogs is guaranteed a bright, happy future. The Wisconsin Puppy Mill Project, my soul and starting in the humane world. I got into it when I got my first puppy mill dog in 1999. There was so much wrong with him that I thought that certainly some law had been broken. I called the state veterinarian and she said, "You can't break laws that don't exist." So we started a project, a little grassroots movement with no money, and tried to get people interested in what was going on in the domestic end of dog rearing and puppy milling. A lot has been done in that area, but the internet has opened it wide for people, anybody, to sell dogs. And as we consider animals in test labs, please also consider animals that are suffering in puppy mills across the nation that are fed into a pipeline of the internet. Anybody can buy any dog anytime. It's still a big problem, and we'll keep fighting it. Any movement like this is like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. Some people create the outside framework, like Wayne and Joe, and the rest of us fill in the little pieces that make the big picture of a more humane world. I am so grateful to be a part of this, and thank you all for being a part of it too.
Eileen, thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Listen, I'm so impressed at what you all have created in Wisconsin. I mean, just amazing. And then to be here at the Dane County Humane Society is just wonderful. As I said before, Pam McLeod-Smith, the executive director, and Amy Good. Amy, please tell us a little bit more.
Thank you, Wayne. I am so excited to be here and speak on behalf of Dane County Humane Society. We've been in this community since 1921, helping people help animals. And for a long time, we said we would be ready if the Ridgeland Beagles came. And we needed all of these partners surrounding us to make that happen. But we're very excited in the role we were able to play this week. It has been a tremendous couple days so far, going into Ridgeland every single day, bringing the Beagles back, and then seeing so many staff and volunteers welcoming them with open arms, giving them those first snuggles, taking them out in our grassy area and walking on grass for the first time. We can talk about this large movement that we're trying to fix, but at the same time, we have all of these individual dogs. And we're just really excited to be part of this project with all of these other people. We know there's more dogs there. We'll be ready if that time comes as well. But we're just really grateful for this community, both in Madison, Wisconsin, and nationwide, that is trying to make life better for so many animals. And we are so excited about the future for all of these dogs. 500 dogs, many of that are staying right here in the Midwest, 300 right in Wisconsin with our partners that we know and trust from other shelters and rescues. Like Wayne said, we have a great network of people here who did not hesitate for 1 second to say they would help us. And I think that's what it comes down to, is collaboration. This crosses party lines. This crosses different sectors. We needed a lawyer. We needed advocacy. We needed people to really speak out about this. There's been so many people concerned for these beagles that have been right here in our backyard in Dane County for a long time. And we are happy that we are part of that journey for them here on out. 500 of those dogs will have passed through our doors by the time this week is over. It's been absolutely tremendous to work alongside all of these partners who care so much for these dogs. Beagle Freedom Project, it's so great to have you here leading this along with us. So thank you everybody for being here, and we have these beagles in hand and they have a great life promised from here.
Amy, thank you. And again, what a wonderful community institution Dane County has in this Humane Society. Amazing work for the community. Thank you. I want to close with our attorney who represented.
Legal beagle.
Yeah, yes. Joseph Good is a former chair of the board of the Dane County Humane Society. He's on the board of Animal Wellness Action. I'm so privileged to have him serving the organization as board member, and he took this project on to interact with the leadership at Ridgeland Farms, and he did it on a completely pro bono basis. It was a pretty darn good rate you gave us on this, Joe, and thank you so much. And I know you had a closing thought for us.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, everybody. This is a hard act to follow. We're here because heart and brains got us here. Passion works. Getting people focused on justice, which comes in many, many forms, has always been what I'm about. I have a 98-year-old mom who taught me that early on, and being a lawyer is one of the things that's helped me do that, to be able to speak for those who can't speak, like the ones on Debbie and Geezer's laps right now is a pretty cool thing. There's a lot of ways to go about problem solving. We live in a world that's filled with conflict. This is a really good result. I want to be clear. Is it a perfect result? There's no such thing as a perfect result. I've been doing this a long time. But here we are, 1,500 dogs coming out onto new homes with amazing collaboration, a lot of passion, a lot of brains. And, we worked very hard on this, and the lawyers at Ridgeland Farms and I spent a lot of time together, and they're to be commended for elevating the discussion and working on problem solving, which is what this should all be about. So thank you, Wayne, and thanks for everybody who's participated in this today. It's been really great. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Joe. Any questions from any of the media? Yes. We have no, precise understanding of that. My guess, and it's pure guesswork, was about 500 remaining. I came into the discussions with Joe based on, some rudimentary understanding that there were about 2,000, but it's hard to know. I will say that every year, in recent years, about 50,000 dogs are used in medical testing, drug testing, and other forms of research in the United States. So 1,500 of them represents about 3% of the total. So I think we've done something really special here. Every one of these lives matters. When you hold one of these animals, you understand there's a being there. But we've got a lot more to do. We've got 97% ahead of us. And I really want to focus the American public on this larger task. The rescue is vital, but it's insufficient alone. Other questions?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
Somebody with the Dane County Humane Society give us an update on how many dogs your organization is adopting out, how many applications you've gotten, and are those applications still open?
Right. So of the 500 dogs that are coming through the staging facility here, 50 of those are going to be staying with Dane County Humane Society and put up for adoption. As of Friday, we were at 1,300, I believe, interest forms that were completed. I have not looked at that number recently. I'm sure it's gone way up. I think we are still accepting interest forms, but the reality is there's more people willing to adopt and foster these dogs than we have, which is absolutely incredible, and we're really grateful for people's willingness to open their arms. I think that really just shows how this community has been interested in this case and wants to help in some way.
How much has this issue raised the awareness and to help the needs of the Humane Society in general? Benefited from that?
Yep. So the question was, have we seen this elevate attention for the Humane Society and the other animals that we're helping? So what I would say is one of the biggest asks we put out to our community right away was this is going to take resources to do. This is above and beyond what we would do in a normal week, most certainly. It's been a lot, and everybody stepped up so well to help us out from our community. But also one of the other needs we had was for the community to come forward and help adopt, because we knew we were going to have so many resources pulled into these 500 dogs this week that we needed to not have so many animals in the shelter right now. And of course, we know our population is going to go right back up, but our community did come forward and adopted many of the animals in our care. But even once these beagles are gone, we're going to have more homeless animals that need us.
Anything else?
In the terms of the agreement with Richland Farms for those 300 dogs, was it a term that the farm gets to keep some beagles in this agreement, or is there still limitations that they have to?
Yeah. So the question was about the terms of the agreement and whether the agreement left Ridgeland Farms with animals kind of on an indefinite period. The terms of the agreement were simple. They're going to transfer custody of 1,500 dogs to the Center for Humane Economy and to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And then we work with our rescue partners, whom you've heard from today. I think, my sense is, and Joe would know better than I think Ridgeland Farms wanted to get through this process of allowing the removal of the dogs before there was a discussion actively about the remaining dogs. We hope that the company is open to our entreaties to take the remaining animals. It's ultimately up to Ridgeland, but we appreciate the cooperation from Ridgeland, and we thank them for the movement of these animals. It's a big deal in our country. Yes, sir.
The PAW Act, Congressman Langworthy mentioned that you recently became a co-sponsor, but I noticed there are still no members of the Wisconsin congressional delegation that are co-sponsors of that legislation. Are you surprised by that?
Well, the question is about legislation in Congress dealing with animal testing. There are actually, I think, probably about 15 or so major animal testing bills. And as I said, tomorrow, a really important one is going to be voted on in a key committee, which Congressman Langworthy sits on. So that's the FDA Modernization Act 3.0, which is HR 2821, passed the Senate in December as S355. So I hope that multiple bills move, and I really do believe that the circumstance of the Ridgeland dogs has elevated our national consciousness on this issue. And all the reporting that you've done and others have done is seen around the country. In the era of social media and the internet, local stories become national stories. Wisconsin, Representative Pocan has been very outspoken. I'm very grateful to him. He has been taking to the social media and speaking out about this, so I'm very excited about him. I certainly would welcome more engagement from the other members of the Wisconsin congressional delegation. And I will personally see that all of them are alerted to these legislative opportunities. Thank you. Yes.
One of the online journalists asked about the dogs not being able to walk on grass. Is that because they've been sterile or something?
The question is from one of the media outlets online, and there was mention that this is the first time that the beagles have stepped on grass. And
Some not being able to walk on grass. They're asking why that was the case.
I don't think they're unable to walk on grass. I think it's just an unfamiliar substrate for them. It's just going to take, it's like riding a bike. It takes a little while before you can get going. And they're in cages, they're in elevated cages, and it's a different environment. And what was just striking to all of us who saw them first come out is, looking at the sky as well, just the scale of the world. I mean, these guys had a very narrow frame of reference to the world that they inhabit. Other questions? Thank you all so much for coming, and thanks to all of our panelists and speakers. Great to have all of you here. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.